Welcome to that place where only you can go. That place is the journey within. The journey within. The journey within. Welcome to the journey within. The journey within. Yes, welcome back to the journey within. It's brought to you by your host and also author of the book Winning in the Gray. I am Brian Skinner, and I'm coming back to you with a third episode. It's been a couple of months. A lot of things have gone on, and I hope that all is well with everyone today. And so we have a lot to get into. I will recommend that you listen to the first two episodes to connect with this third episode, and more so often there will be other episodes uploaded in the next couple of weeks, or next week or so, as we go along and we talk about winning in the gray. The first episode, just to give a summary, talks about what in the gray is all about. What does it mean to operate in your gray? Operating in your gray is operating with your abilities that you have within you. Whether you believe those abilities you were born with or those abilities you developed. Those are the abilities that help you survive here on Earth. And also guide you throughout the course of the journey we call life. Episode 2 talks about you're fired. It talks about the people, the black and white systems that need to be fired out of your life. Black and white suggests that you have limits. They try to box you in to a certain way. They limit you to only certain things that you can do. You will start to see that their expectations of you will contradict what's built within you. And so today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, and tonight, whenever you're listening to this episode, we will talk about the principle for chapter 3. And we talk about It's Your Fault. That's the name of this chapter. In the previous chapter, as I stated before, we talked about people you should fire. And in those individuals include some family members that you will have to fire, people that you probably go to school with, people in your neighborhood, if you're a part of a religious group, if you worship in a religious setting, some people you just need to get rid of that don't embrace what you have within you. It's very hard for people to see what you see. All of us have different types of vision. All of us, to a certain degree, we have our vision with our eyes. People wear glasses. And with those glasses, people have different prescriptions. And so in looking at those glasses help people see more clearly. And everybody needs to see more clearly. Everybody cannot see what you see for your life. And so, again, even in explaining it to people about where you're going, where you're going to end up at, some people will have a hard time just accepting what's for you. Most people look at what you can't do and do not embrace what you can do. In fact, some people can't embrace what you can do because they don't know that you can do. And so some people will look to shoot you down, and some people will look to discourage you, and they think that they're doing these things for your best interest, when in fact they're hurting you, and they're actually trying to abort, kill what's been placed within you. And so we want to discuss today, and we want to encourage people out there to do what's in you. And so you got to follow the steps. I tell you, you got to get the book. The book is coming out this year. Even though this pandemic that we're currently facing, there are plans to still that the book will come out in December. All right. And so to talk about, just to set the framework, the previous episode we talked about you have to fire people. It's important that you fire people out of your life. And the reason why is because, again, like tonight, you have people that have opinions, interpretations, and then also you have people that just think they just know better. They judge things based off of their experience, but don't judge things based off of what's built within you. Now, you have to watch the people who say, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, or I'm just trying to be objective right now. Some people comes from a good place, and you will pick up their vibe, you'll pick up their energy. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. You will know when somebody is really trying to help you with your vision, or trying to help bring out those abilities. But then you have other people that's trying to discourage you and want to limit you to something else. And so tonight, this afternoon, this morning, I want to encourage you with this. Avoid falling victim to people's interpretations, opinions, rumors, and people's experience, right? And so what does that mean? Everybody has an interpretation of how things go. We can all look at the same event, and we can all come with different interpretations. And those interpretations are shaped in many ways. First of all, our interpretations are shaped by our experience, childhood, any traumas that we may have, also other stories that we may be exposed to from other people's life events, just life events in general. And then also interpretations are built around ignorance. Those are things that we need to understand. So let's repeat that. Interpretations are built around people's experience from childhood all the way up to their current state of age. Also, trauma has something to do with that, which shapes and molds interpretations. Good experience, bad experience, shapes and molds interpretations. And then also ignorance shapes and mold experience. If you know nothing about the path that I'm walking on, then guess what? You will develop, because you don't know the path, you don't understand the market, you don't understand the journey. A lot of times people develop negative perspectives because they just don't know, right? Experience, our own personal experience, our own personal feelings about something, the way something makes us feel. After people get done listening to you, you will be amazed that because they have their own personal feelings and emotions about something, they project that on to you. And in their projection, to you, you will discover that a lot of times, instead of pushing you closer to your journey, people are talking you out of your journey if you allow them. And so there are times where you have to combat people's traumas, people's own personal life experience, and then also people's ignorance. And a lot of times you will face that. That's why you have to be careful about who you share your journey with. That's why the previous chapter encouraged you to fire people. because at the end of the day, people have their own propaganda and people have their own agenda, and that's just the truth. And so again, when it comes to interpretations of things, guess what? Be careful, because you got to ask yourself, are they giving me their ignorance? Are they giving me their trauma? Are they giving me their personal experience? What is objective about what they're saying, right? People have opinions, and those opinions can be developed, again, not based off of facts. And a lot of times, for so many people, you can develop opinions. It depends on what side of the track you grew up on, right? And so I'm encouraging people, you need to put some people on do not disturb. That's right. You need to put some people on do not disturb. Hey, do not disturb me right now. Again, you gotta understand, when everybody has an opinion, right? And based off of our opinions, we form our opinions. For some, we form our opinions based off of facts, evidence-based approaches. But then you have other people who develop their opinions about how they feel about something. And so we form our opinions and we buy into things based off of how we feel about a person. So, for example, if I like you, I will be quick to endorse you. But if I don't necessarily like you and I want you to do something else, I could be negative towards you. Now, that's not always the case. Please understand that we're not being, this is not the situation all the time. That you actually have some people that's actually trying to help you. But then you have some other people that's not trying to help you. And you have to be able to demarcate or separate the two. You have to be able to see who's on your side. And so just giving these little tools, and you have to buy the book to find out more about what's to come. And then don't forget, man, people will spread rumors. People will be very critical of you. I'll tell you this, be ready to hear people's judgment against what you're trying to do. We don't want to accept it, but guess what? We're going to be judged, right? That's the reality, right? So since that's something that is going to happen, what are we doing to prepare ourselves to hear that? You know, a lot of times we don't prepare for what's ahead to come. A lot of times we just go, and whatever happens, it happens, and then we try to prepare. When a lot of times, no. We should prepare for the journey. Be prepared to be judged. Be prepared for people that don't like you. Be prepared for the ones that you cut off to have a problem with you. Be prepared for those ones to get on your nerves to try to talk you back on their side. It's going to happen. I told you, if you're going to win in the great, it's going to come with much controversy. There might be some scandal involved, but guess what? You're going to be fulfilled at the end because you did what was built within you. You wasn't held back, and you did not allow those things to deter you nor limit you. You may be saying right now, hey, I don't have the resources, but guess what? Start the journey. Those resources will become available because guess what? You will be put in position and you will have connections with people on the journey as you go to get to where you're trying to get to. Because guess what? Your abilities, what's built within you, will lead you to where you need and what you need to do. You never have to second guess yourself. Many people will talk you out of it. Why? Why limit yourself? In fact, a lot of us are victims to what people said to us 10 years ago, 5 years ago. People said in school, people say you're never going to be nothing, and you kind of held that to yourself. Or a certain experience or something happened or an event took place, and now you limit yourself. Why? Because guess what? Something happened back then or something occurred, and now you are talking your own self out of your own journey. And a lot of times you have to really check yourself a lot of times and say to yourself, I will not talk myself out of my journey. say that for me one time. I will not talk myself out of my journey. And you have to tell yourself that every day. A lot of people are going to tell you it's your fault because it will look like for a little while that you're not doing nothing. And some people like to just jump out there, don't matter how they work, look, or anything like that. Just don't care how things look. They just throw anything together and just want to put it on out there and just believe whatever the chips may fall. That stuff do not work, good people. Alright? Develop. You have to take your time. Many people are just going to blame you. You're going to have folks that's going to try to tell you, oh, you know you should have did this by now. You know you 30 now. You know you have folks that say by the time you 40 you should be married. Preposterous. Because you was married before 40, that doesn't mean that was for my life. You would hear you would hear so many people with their perspectives, and because they project their own expectations to you, now you're in bondage to somebody's expectation, and now you can't hear yourself speak. But I tell you, when you discover your voice, and I'm telling you how to discover your voice, first of all, you have to block out those voices, number one, that's going on within you. Because truth be told, psychologically, we actually replay what people have said about us. Yes, we do. Believe it or not. And those things have a way of shaping and molding us in the middle of all of that. And it shape and mold us. And guess what? It ends up being a GPS for our journey. Now I have limited myself and not allowed myself to go somewhere. Oh, well, and then, like I said, people ignorance. Again, people's ignorance will cause you to abort your journey. Let me say that again. People, ignorance will cause you to abort your journey. And what for? What fashion? They don't know. If you ask them questions about the marketplace that you're trying to operate in, the space that you're trying to create, and all of that, oh, I don't know, but I just know it don't make enough money and all of that. People say stuff like that. Then when it look like you're not prospering, or look like you're not going anywhere, or because you're not bragging about your work like other people like to do, people want to say, well, it's your fault that you're not going nowhere. See, if you had to listen to us, you would have never made this mistake and all of that. And it's not a mistake. Let me tell y'all something. We're going to talk about this in next episodes. Again, get the book, Winning in the Gray. It's coming out in December. You want to get the book because, again, you're going to need this guide. You're going to need this roadmap. I'm telling you, man, do not let people pimp you out of your journey. Because if people can, guess what? They will. And they will do it intentionally, and it'll be the folks that's closest to you. And you just have to, I'm just being real, we fall victim to people's ignorance. Interpretations, opinions, and all of that. We fall victim to that stuff. We allow that stuff. We go to sleep with that stuff. We wake up with that stuff. We done replayed that stuff. And then we want to talk about, well, we just had to live in reality. No, create your reality. But because they don't give you the power to do that, guess what? You got to take the power. And people that are listening to this right now, you have so much power within you that you have not discovered yet. That's right. Your abilities. Again, there's no competition. Again, don't compare yourself to nobody else. Just because a person is at a certain point at the age of 30 and you may not be there. Stuff happens. Life happens. Guess what? You have a journey. Guess what? Don't compare yourself to other people, and don't allow other people to compare you to other people. Because guess what? That serves as a distraction. You just gotta be real, y'all. I'm just keeping it real here today, because guess what? You just need to be careful. You need to guard your heart. You need to guard your mind. You need to guard what you're listening to. Guess what? Social media, because we are all connected. Social media has a way. It has torn down boundaries with each other, right? And so we don't have, a lot of times we don't operate, for so many people, not everybody, but I'm just saying for some people, they just don't operate in privacy. And so now our personal Facebook page, Instagram page, Twitter, other platforms, and all of that. Those are our personal promotional kit. Yeah, people looking at pictures and all of that, they're comparing to see. People are developing conversations and all of that. People are developing interpretations without having insight and clarity about what's going on. And so look, people will try to judge you and will try to persecute you and try to discourage you and defame you because they just don't understand. I forgot who came up with this quote. Parents just don't understand. People do not understand. And let me just tell you this right now. I'm going to just go out on a limb. I'm talking good right now. And I encourage you, please share this. And please write a comment. If you disagree, fine. Come on in. We'll talk about it. In fact, you could get on the show. I'm just saying. And let's just have that conversation. I'm just saying, hey, I just got to be real. People can be very ignorant. There's some very ignorant people out here, man. And guess what? Certain societies, certain tribes, we look at certain people, we make superstars out of those people, and people look to them for guidance and all that. And them be some of the most ignorant people ever. Just because they talk the most, that don't mean that they the leader. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, we got some ignorant people out here. Again, interpretations and opinions do not allow those things to distract you. Don't be subjective, be objective. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you that these are like warning signs. And a lot of times these are lessons that I've learned. I've talked to other people, and these are just things that you need, especially when you're coming out of high school, you're in college, and especially in college. And my college students, whoever listening to this right now, they'll tell you whatever field you talking about going in, guess what? They're going to say ain't no money in that market. I heard that all throughout college. Oh, ain't no money in that market. No, yes it is. You just got to learn how to make the money. And folks will try to control, and people will try to. I had so many people try to talk me out of what I was doing. I was like, man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Like, there's many other avenues to make income. Just because you see one side, that don't mean there's only one side. There's many facets to it. What's my background? Social work. Many people think social work, you sit behind the desk, you help people and all of that, and then they try to compare it to case management. Number one, social work can do case management. Alright? Don't allow people who do not know about your area, your field, your journey to talk down on you because they don't know. They don't know themselves. And guess what? Again, because they was victimized by people in their background and in their setting, guess what? Now they're doing the same thing to you. Hurt people. And just like we have a lot of ignorant people out here, we have a lot of hurt people out here. I'm just keeping it real. You may disagree. And if you disagree with me, cool. Let's have that conversation. We'd love to. But hurt people. I'm just being honest, man. I'm like, hey, a lot of people may not agree with this. You may not agree with this. And if you don't, you should comment on it. I encourage you to comment on it. So let's talk about it, because for me, again, you got to do things off of facts, things that you can research. Don't do things based off of feelings and emotions, because that's all a lot of people interpretations and opinions is based off of feelings and emotions and not facts. They don't know. Well, let me ask questions. When you come into contact with people, they don't, some people don't never say, well, let me look into that. Well, can you share more information about that? Because people are ashamed to say they just don't know. They are. I'm telling you. People, hey, and then guess what? You don't have to have it all figured out right then and there. Let me say that again. When people ask where you're going, you ain't got to have it all figured out right then and there. Should you plan? Yes. All right, I think you should plan. But in the middle of your journey as you're going, your plans will change and they're subject to change and they have a way of changing and it's okay. But when people say, well, where you going to end up going? Again, back 10 years ago, you can never tell me I would be doing the stuff that I'm doing right now. I didn't know. I had no intentions on writing a book. I didn't want no parts of a book. Now all of a sudden, I'm writing a book. Never known I was going to do a podcast. I'm doing a podcast now. I had no intentions. When I was planning, I didn't have no intentions. But along the journey, these things have been presented to me, and it's like, all right. A lot of things will be presented to you that you never expected that you would be doing. And so that's why I'm encouraging those that are listening to this, do not fall into people's interpretations and opinions. Another thing that you want to consider, be ready for the rumors that people spread about you. That's right. People will spread, especially the folks you cut off. Yeah, they'll spread that, man. Let me tell y'all something. They will spread some great lies about you. You got to caution yourself and you got to be stern. You got to be ready for those things to happen because it's going to come your way. Oh, yeah. Those things are going to come your way. And let me tell you something. And it's not right. You're going to catch a lot of flack from the black and white system. See, the black and white systems are not going to admit that they want you back. People, and I'm going to talk about this in the next episode, but you never start out with crowds. Never start out with crowds. The Last Dance is detailing the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls last year of winning the championship back in 98. And so they do a great, excellent job of going back to when Jordan first came in the league. They go back to the Chicago Bulls in the state that they were in, losing state. And then they detail Michael Jordan when he came into the league. And then they detail other players like Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen and all of that. Their rivals, the Detroit Pistons and all of that. I'm trying to tell you, if you go back into the life of Michael Jordan, I think it was his high school coach or his elementary coach. He didn't make the team. Just be real. The coach cut him, and now look at Jordan now. One of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. In my opinion, he's the greatest of all time. But Jordan did not start out with a crowd. Kobe Bryant was very promising. But a lot of people were very negative and hard on Kobe Bryant. He was known for throwing up air balls. And now he got 5 championships. The late Kobe Bryant, let me give respect. The late Kobe Bryant, he has 5 championships now. I'm just saying. Those things, good people, you want to consider. Look at all the greats. Whoever you look up to, look at their beginning. We see, and like I said, we always get caught up on the here and now. We get caught up on the result. We never get caught up on the process. And yes, there's a process to everything. And like I'm going to say in every episode, there's no such thing as overnight success. That's number one. Don't let people discourage you or anything like that. Don't let people try to come in and try to tell you you need to make a name for yourself. If you up under somebody, if somebody made a way for you, trailblazing a way, they're showing you stuff, keep being up under that person. Keep following that person. That person is helping you. They're help building you, right? I recently had a friend that passed away. Man, he was very near and dear to my heart, and to describe our relationship with each other would be very hard because it was a lot of dynamics. Like, man, in fact, me and him were supposed to do a podcast together, but God rest his soul. We didn't get a chance to do it, but that podcast that we talked about is gonna go and it's gonna exist, and we're gonna do that. But again, for me personally, what he did for me in my life, he helped me. I sat up under him. I learned. I got quiet. I took notes. I was a student. He was the teacher. He was the master. And not from a negative connotation. Please, you all don't take it like that. Because I have to say that because, people's interpretations. But because I sat up under him, I listened to him. I received guidance from him. He trailblazed. All I had to do was follow him. Been exposed to a whole lot now. Now that he's gone, and I miss him very much. Miss him every day. Wish he was still here now. Because we definitely had so much work to do. That we plan to do. And that stuff's still going to go forth regardless. In honor of him. We're still going to go forth with those things. He trailblazed. He helped me with my path. I've been knowing him for like 12, 15 years. We got close to each other 6, 7 years ago. Never knew that he would be the one. He would be one of the ones to help me on my journey. Didn't know that. We got a connection. We got close. He took me up under his wing. I could say we were brothers, and then I can also say he was like a father to me. My father passed away when I was 22, and I still needed guidance. He just stepped in. That's just how the journey works. He ended up stepping in, and it took a process for that to happen. We had to develop a trust for each other, and it took time. Once that happened and that connection took place, man, I'm telling you, it was history in the making. And he took me up on his wing and showed me he did things. He trailblazed. And I owe him so much, and I'm going to continue to honor his legacy. But I'm saying all that to say this. On your journey, you're going to meet some people that's going to help you. And I'm going to talk about that more in depth in further episodes. But you're going to meet people that's going to help you on your journey. And you have to be willing to take and embrace that piece and that part. You have to be willing to sit down, humble yourself, and receive. You're going to have some people out there. You don't know who these people are. You don't know where these people are going to come from. And guess what? You don't need to know where these people come from. You don't need to worry about that. Just get started. Just get started. Just get started. That's all I'm saying. And I'm telling you what I've lived. So, I'm not saying to you, this ain't nothing that I just imagination. No, this is stuff that I've experienced. People will come along and help you and take you further. But you're going to need to humble yourself. And you're going to have to allow them and give them permission to come into your life. And there will be some things you will get rid of that you need to get rid of. I'm grateful for him. He trailblazed, exposed me to a lot. But guess what? Personally, internally, helped me with some things. I had to get rid of some things. Didn't know I had to get rid of some things. I have other people on the journey that has helped me. Success takes time, y'all. It just really does. It do not happen overnight. You do not become great. You have to put the time and the effort into whatever you are doing. Do not go with wherever the chips may fall. No, you need to know where the chips gonna fall. That's what we look to do here. So in your beginning, in your infant stage, when you don't know, do not fall victim to those people's interpretations and opinions, and do not give ear to those opinions. Guard yourself. You're going to meet people on your journey that's going to really encourage you. I'm telling you, man, you're going to meet those people that are just going to be there for you. And those are the people you want to be around. And so we're going to go ahead and again, you don't want to be a slave to people's opinions. You want to guard yourself. And then guess what? You want to surround yourself with positive energy. I'm telling you, man, I've seen so many people that have fallen victim to other people. Man, people talk you out. I didn't finish school because I didn't have that support. You know, I mean, we have a whole lot of things. Let's start that conversation. So when people like to say, because they don't understand the path that you walking on, they don't understand. But later down the road, they're going to be at your celebration, at your party or whatever, saying, I knew you could do it and all of that. You just, okay. Same one that was trying to distract me. Same one that was trying to put lemons on me. Same ones that was trying to imprison me to your expectation, your opinions, and your interpretation. Just being real. I'm just being real. So again, with that being said, again, we have another episode. We'll be out in a week. Look forward. Again, like, share, comment. If you disagree or if you agree, if you have an experience, I invite you to share your story. We have to share our stories, especially with this pandemic that we're going through. Guess what? We have to share our stories to keep other people encouraged, because guess what? You're not the only one that's running the race. There's a lot of people that's running the race, and everybody are at different places and times in the race. So let's help somebody. All right, let's go. That's the podcast. You guys, look forward to you tuning in. Again, tell a friend, tell somebody about this. College students, I invite college students, high school students, young adults, middle-aged adults, elders. Invite everybody. I'm telling you, this podcast can pretty much talk to everybody. And we're gonna this podcast, the book Winning in the Gray, is gonna look to talk and speak to people in every stage and every facet of life. All right. So again, I thank you, and let's go with the outro. Let's hit it. The journey within.